They look like a problem. They look like something that doesn't belong in a healthy garden. But here is what you need to understand before you reach for your shoe or a pesticide spray. What you are looking at is not a pest. It is not a sign of neglect, rot, or anything going wrong in your backyard. What you are looking at is one of the hardest working, most chemically sophisticated, and most misunderstood creatures in your entire outdoor space. The day you stop trying to eliminate them is the day your garden becomes measurably healthier. Today, we are going to talk about what Roly-Polies, known scientifically as Armadillidium vulgare and more formally as pill bugs, actually are. The truth about them is so strange and so useful that most people who hear it want to immediately tell someone else. Let's start with the fact that will change everything. The roly-poly is not an insect. Read that again. It has no relationship to beetles, ants, or any of the other six-legged creatures we usually associate with garden soil. The pill bug is a crustacean. It belongs to the order Isopoda, the same biological order as shrimp, crabs, lobsters, and barnacles. It is, in the most literal taxonomic sense, a land-dwelling crustacean, a relative of the creatures you order at seafood restaurants that evolved over millions of years to leave the ocean entirely and make its home in the soil beneath your garden pots. I remember the first time I read this in a research paper, I had to stop and reread it. A crustacean in my garden? The same family as the lobster on a dinner plate, living under a clay pot next to my tomatoes? It feels like it cannot be right until you look at the animal again. Really look at it. Suddenly, the segmented armor, the multiple pairs of legs, and the way it moves all make a completely different kind of sense. This single fact, crustacean, not insect, is the key to understanding everything remarkable about what they do. Because crustaceans evolved in water, their biology was built for aquatic environments. When the ancestors of the pill bug made the transition to land, a process that took tens of millions of years, they carried certain aquatic biological tools with them. These tools, in the soil environment, became something no other land creature possesses. Why they live there? Because of this aquatic heritage, the pill bug breathes through structures called pleopodal lungs. These are essentially modified gill-like organs on its underside that must remain moist to function. This is the scientific answer to why they congregate in damp, dark spaces like the area under your garden pots. It is not a preference, it is a matter of survival. They are, in a biological sense, still partly aquatic, still tethered to moisture the way their ocean ancestors were tethered to water. But this limitation is actually a gift to your garden. As detritivores, pill bugs feed on decomposing organic matter, dead leaves, rotting wood, fungi, and the decaying remains of other organisms. In doing this, they perform one of the most essential functions in any garden ecosystem. They break down organic material into forms that soil bacteria and fungi can process further. This accelerates the decomposition cycle that produces the nutrients your plants need to grow. A garden with a healthy pill bug population recycles nutrients more efficiently and maintains a better soil structure than a garden without them. They are the advanced team for your soil's health. Now, let's talk about the most remarkable thing they do. The one discovery that scientists have been studying intensively for the past 2 decades. It concerns what happens when pill bugs encounter heavy metals in the soil. Lead, cadmium, copper, zinc, and arsenic. These toxic metals accumulate in urban and suburban soils from decades of industrial activity, vehicle exhaust, old paint, and contaminated groundwater. They do not break down. They enter plant tissue and move up through the food chain into the vegetables you grow, and eventually, into you. Pill bugs eat contaminated soil material, and when they do, something extraordinary happens inside their bodies. Research published in journals like Cell Biology International identified specialized cells in the pill bug's midgut, called S cells. These cells actively absorb heavy metal ions from digested material and sequester them in mineralized spheres. The metals are not processed, they are not excreted back into the soil, they are locked inside the pill bug's body, permanently removed from the soil ecosystem and stored in a form that cannot re-enter the food chain. The pill bug doesn't just live in your soil, it filters it. It is one of the most effective biological heavy metal remediation agents ever identified, operating continuously for free in the exact locations where contamination accumulates. Studies across Europe have found that pill bug populations in contaminated urban soils contain measurably higher concentrations of lead and cadmium than the surrounding soil. They are actively drawing these toxins out of the environment and concentrating them in their own bodies. Even when the animal dies, the metals are passed on in a contained, mineralized form that is significantly less bioavailable than the free ionic metals in the soil. Your pill bugs are running a detoxification program, and most people are stepping on them. But wait, there is more to this creature than just chemistry. There is the ball. The defensive curl that gave them the name Roly-Poly is a masterpiece of structural engineering. Their exoskeleton, the overlapping armor plates that give them that segmented, almost mechanical appearance, is designed to interlock precisely when the animal curls. The result is a sphere with no exposed soft tissue and no vulnerable entry points. This surface distributes external pressure across the entire structure rather than concentrating it at any single point. This design is so sophisticated that engineers at several universities have studied the pill bug's rolling mechanism as a model for designing flexible, impact-resistant structures used in robotics, protective equipment, and even aerospace components. The animal that people step on in their gardens has a body architecture sophisticated enough to inspire aerospace research. Think about that. A land crustacean with a 300 million year evolutionary history, a gill-based respiratory system, a heavy metal sequestration system, and a shell that inspires modern engineering. The most practical thing you can understand is this. Pill bugs thrive where conditions are right, and their presence tells you something true about your garden. They need moisture, organic matter, and darkness, the same conditions that support healthy earthworm populations and fungal networks. A garden with hundreds of pill bugs is a garden with living, active, biologically rich soil. A garden without them is often a warning sign of a soil that has been overtreated, overdried, or stripped of life. If you want to support them, the approach is simple. Leave organic matter on the soil surface, leaf litter, wood chip mulch, and the remains of last season's plants. Keep your moisture consistent and stop using broad-spectrum pesticides that kill indiscriminately. The next time you lift a pot and find them there, put the pot back gently. They were doing something important in the dark. Stop fighting the creatures that are cleaning your soil for free. Set the pot down. Let them work.